Welcome to this week's edition of the MMA-Analysis podcast. I am your host, Lance Fishel. Wes, your mic is yelling at us.
Yeah.
It's screaming. It sounds like someone ran it back into a fire hydrant, and then the water is just spewing out, is how I would describe it.
I wasn't looking at first, and I thought you were doing like the big inhale before they do the too sweet for Scott Hall. You know?
Wes, you gotta. There you go. That sounds great, Wes. If you just stay exactly muted, we won't hear any of the static. Is that an ice maker in the background?
Don't you fucking dare. Don't you fucking.
That's crossing the line.
He's line stepping again.
You talk about some ball player banging my wife, but don't you fucking dare talk about my ice maker.
I swear to God, if you mention ice cubes one more fucking time,
it will not be a good day.
Yeah. Oh God. All right. Anyway,
is that fixed it?
Yep.
You sound
for now.
Yeah. We'll
let me know.
Let you know.
Let me know.
We'll let you know. We had some fights last week. We have a decent card, I would say, this weekend. I would put this card, the London card, above average, especially what we've been used to for non-pay-per-views. I saw half the fights last week. I was on a plane for the prelims, so I was kind of like scrolling around. I was telling the guys, I was like scrolling on Twitter, seeing who won and just watching the highlights. I feel like I watched the prelims a little bit and got home right when the main card started. But seemed like there were some good finishes, and we got some good fights to talk about this week. But we'll start off and go through last week's recap and work our way through that. Light heavyweight division, Boring Russian defeated Njukwe knockout. That was pretty crazy. I watched that finish, and he was down 2-0, so he's not good though.
Allegedly, it was 1-1 on two of the judges' scored cards.
Ooh,
and 2-0 on the other one.
Awful.
That is
which is bad. Fuck, man. Wrestlers love just diving into a knee. Eh?
Yep.
I was feeling good about that.
Yep.
At plus 160, man. God, it was easy. That dude, I said after it, he's in the ground. I'm putting water on that man.
He's not good.
No.
He's not good at all.
No.
Right.
When you said there was a boring light heavyweight, I wasn't sure if we were starting at the top of the card or the bottom of the card.
We just got sandwiched in there.
That main event was like, that was next level bad. That was, All right. Bantamweight division, Guido Canetti defeated Chris Moutinho, knockout first round. Everyone was betting this kid because he got punched a lot by Sean O'Malley and punched him a few times. And everyone thought he's this great fighter for no reason. Like, what a hilarious outcome.
How soft does Sean O'Malley hit, though?
I know. I know.
Dude's got pillow hands.
I feel like most people were just strictly fading Canetti. I don't know how many people were betting Moutinho. Yeah, he's fucking horrible. So Guido versus O'Malley next, or on a main card pay-per-view, or what? I
mean, that's the kind of guy that O'Malley would fight. But no, I think after the O'Malley fight, everyone was like all over Moutinho and this and this and this. And like when I was reading stuff through Twitter, like people actually thought this kid was good. Like it was a little bit of a fade on Canetti, but I think people were going to bet this kid no matter what in his next fight, as long as it wasn't the like top guy. People fall in love with narratives.
I don't know who you're following, because the only thing I saw is, he's got heart and he's durable.
Yeah, that's all you need in MMA half the time.
I feel like some of the nerd shit creeps its way onto Lance's timeline.
That's fair.
We are a sort of narrative-based show here, so I don't want to kill the narrative too bad, but yeah, that for me, I just picked him, but that was just a fade of a 42-year-old bum who
I saw all kinds of stuff on people thinking that he was good, and it's always like people that are retweeted. I do not follow a lot of people. I know there's all people that follow like 1,000. I don't know how people do that.
I know you actually follow less than me, which is surprising because I follow like 300. And I'm like 160. I think Lance is like 150.
Yeah, I never go over 150. I can barely keep up with following 150 people. Some days I just wake up, like I'm on call for 5 hours and I'll like open Twitter if I got like a 5-minute break or waiting, and it's like 600 tweets. I'm like, nope, never going to see those. So even like, I think I have like 145 right now. It's still It's so, like some of these, maybe they look at Twitter differently, or there's a different way to do it. I'm not good with technology, but like the bro hugs of the world following like 3,500 people and stuff like that. Like I don't understand. Like if I follow more people, then more people will follow me, and then I'll be popular.
I think a lot of people do the thing where like they follow and then just mute people.
Yeah.
Or they just ignore everything.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
would rather not follow somebody.
A lot of my conversations on Twitter nowadays are pretty much DM chat shit. Like I rarely try to. There's just so many idiots floating around.
Most of my like the thing like what I follow on Twitter, it's like a lot of like just news sites and
I
like
do too. Sports
sites. Yeah, like
sports reporters and shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I follow some from every sport that I follow and things like that, but I'm not like I don't follow a lot of MMA personalities. Like that's not really my thing. I hate most of the world we live in this MMA world. So I think but then people retweet and all this stuff, and I don't know. Not for me. All right, let's move on now. Middleweight division. Cody Brundage defeated Lung Ambulance. Man, this was my last cut. I was like, I already got 6 fights, 6 bets. That's enough on a card like this. I didn't bet Brundage because he's not very good. And
he was getting his shit pushed in the whole time in this fight.
Yeah, he's not good. Regret though. Did you guys? Anyway, you guys bet this?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. I took some Brundage because I had like bet on every single fight somehow, but it was shaky because the old Lung Ambulance was blaring the siren, boy, on that fucking dome.
That was a possible 10-8 turned into a loss by sub.
Yep. You take those in this shit though, man, because you get a lot of them to go the other way for sure.
Yep. I didn't watch it, but I saw the finish. He choked him.
He sucks. He's terrible.
He's not good. He's not very good. So we didn't talk about
exactly
it yet.
Which one.
Right. We didn't talk about it yet, but tomorrow is the start of the greatest sports weekend of the year. The NCAA wrestling tournament, of course, starts tomorrow at noon. So if you haven't watched it, I highly suggest. Wes, I know you watched a little bit now, right?
The last one I watched was the Bo Nickel. He was talking about that. So who is this year's Bo Nickel? The top.
The best guy. I mean, it's obviously everyone's returning this year. Like wrestlers aren't jumping into professional careers as much as like football players and stuff. Like
they go 4.
Now they got you get a red shirt, you got the COVID year, you got a medical maybe. There is literally I could probably name 10 or 12 guys who will all American
like 26,
24, 25. No joke.
Yeah.
Like so many 24, 25 year, like it's insane. Like you'll see guys now. I'm like, I swear I watched that guy like 6 years ago, 7 years ago. It's nuts. I mean, Gable Stevenson is when you look at him versus competition is the class of it. But I mean, there's some great weight classes. And I think Penn State's the best again this year after they took a year off from being the best. But there's some, like, it's a lot closer, like Michigan, Iowa, ACC is a little bit stronger. The shitty thing is I don't think he's going to wrestle, but AJ Ferrari, remember him? He's the guy that gave that crazy interview. He was in a horrible car wreck.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, like 2 months ago, and he hasn't wrestled since. I haven't looked. I don't know if he's going to be able to wrestle, but that sucks because that kid was a true freshman who won nationals, which does not happen. So that sucks. But yeah, there's every weight class outside of heavyweight is always pretty solid. So I'm excited. I try to watch as much as I can over the next 3 days, but yeah, the quarterfinals and the semis are Friday, and then the finals are Saturday night. So first 2 rounds are tomorrow. So
and how excited are you that the DC's doing commentary?
Ooh, man, that I saw Lance I saw his joy just coming out on Twitter. You can see it.
Just nothing but fist pumps.
Are they going to get rid of Quint?
He's still there. I think Billy's gone, which sucked. I like Billy. Yeah. Oh, Billy Baldwin, Binghamton wrestler. But yeah, I mean, I think the problem with DC and MMA announcing sometimes is he has no idea what he's fucking talking about. So he just fills the air with garbage.
He does know what he's talking about.
He knows guy's been wrestling since he was 4.
He coaches it too now. So yeah.
And I'm hoping he respects wrestling enough not to be a moron when he gets in there.
And he doesn't have Rogan egging him on, so that helps.
I think he'll be okay. We'll see. I don't know. You can't ruin it. To me, like, this is the greatest event of the year for me. You got this, you got the Ryder Cup, maybe the Masters, but you can't ruin this. Not even DC. And then obviously basketball. I already got 10 bets tomorrow. So
I have one bet, 16-team parlay, baby. Let's go.
Yeah. Oh, shit.
Who's your favorite bet tomorrow in basketball, Wes? I got a banger.
Kentucky team total over 75.
That's the least surprising thing I've ever heard.
They've been crushing.
They're gonna fly over.
I bet Kentucky. I
bet their spread too, but I love that. They're gonna fly over that.
Providence -2. It's the worst line game I've ever seen.
Everybody's on that though, man. I have seen everybody and their mother betting.
All Providence does is win, and they're a 2-point favorite in this. That is disrespect.
I'd be worried every casual on Twitter. That's all.
Doesn't matter.
Providence best bet on the board. Providence.
Yes, look, I think I could buy a car off Providence this year.
You want me to mush it?
Bet them for like months every day.
You let me know. I'll mush it.
Don't let our boy Water Show get on it, because I don't think any amount of candles can take care of his NCAA betting.
No.
That is just the bane of that man's existence.
No. Rutgers tonight too. I'm on Rutgers. I hit Indiana last night. I'm 0-2 on the 16 seed games. Apparently not my forte, blindly picking 16 versus 16 seed games. So hopefully Rutgers evens me out in the first 4 games.
Had some Indiana last night.
All uphill from now on.
I like Rutgers a good bit tonight. But all right. Anyway, let's move on now. Women's flyweight, Miranda Maverick, Sabina Mazo, submission, rear naked choke. I got nothing. Mazo was cut. I saw that.
Yeah, as she should be.
Yeah.
Maverick wrestled. She was smart. She wasn't dumb.
She didn't spend enough time in the garage.
I actually didn't have a bet until this fight. Featherweight division, Damon Jackson defeated Kirk. Submission, arm triangle. I had doesn't go. It was plus money.
Yep.
Yeah,
headline.
We fucked up in consensus, Kirk.
I saw that. Had you guys not? Damon Jackson versus a loser. He beats losers. The doesn't go was plus money. That was asinine.
Yeah, that was the better play there.
That was a big miss.
David, though Leach, man, is
he's not bad, man.
He's
his second run.
Yeah, his second
he's better
run.
than that first run. That's for
sure. I mean, his chin is held up too, which is kind of crazy. And man, his wrestling and shit is fucking really good. He's tough, man.
I think the biggest thing that's helped him in this run is his jiu-jitsu's always been there. His chin, like, maybe just hasn't been cracked enough. His wrestling. I think he's getting in the past, like, he wasn't able to get guys to the ground, so he was forced to get his shit kicked in, and that's where the chin goes. And I don't even know if it's a bad chin as just much he's got cracked. He's a horrible striker. His wrestling has improved a lot, but yeah, plus money on the doesn't go. I wasn't gonna fuck with the side on this one. I leaned Jackson at first, and I almost played that, but I was like, this fight's not going to the card. So happy to get that. All right, let's move on now. Bantamweight division, Javid Basharat defeated Trevin Jones. Decision. I didn't see any of this when I was still in the plane, and there was no highlights on Twitter for this one while I was there.
That's a big surprise.
There weren't. I mean, it was all right.
There were no highlights.
Yeah, exactly.
Fair. All right.
It's all right.
Yeah. But are you really from Afghanistan if the UFC doesn't let you carry your flag out to the cage? Like, are you?
That was weird.
What happened?
The UFC
wouldn't even show.
Yeah.
They don't show the flag at all. Like, not even on the tail of the tape or anything like that.
For Afghanistan?
Yeah.
Well, Krylov, they wouldn't show. Like, I don't know. Is Krylov Russian or Ukrainian?
So he's a Ukrainian separatist.
Yeah, I mean, you can have like Krylov like gay purgers and shit and run them out there, but don't be against Putin, bro. Don't be fucking around with that.
Mm-hmm. All right, Aldridge defeated Robertson. Okay.
Yeah.
Went to decision. That was an absolute steal, and I'm a moron for only having 2 units. That is fucking crazy.
I couldn't put more than what I regularly put on something, but looking back after, it was like, man, that was like, you don't get women's overs like that anymore.
No.
You don't see them.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Welterweight division, Matthew Semmelsberger defeated AJ Fletcher. Decision. I watched this as I was like walking through the airport on the way to the Uber and watched the end in the Uber. Good start, bad finish for our boy Fletcher.
People wanted to give Tim Elliott shit for admitting that he cheated when that didn't even really affect the outcome of the fight a whole lot. This cheating from Semmelsberger, that was quality, and it won him the fight because he was about to lose the second round as well.
I mean, why would you not cheat? There's no. It's
always worth it. That's what we always say.
I mean, what's the most you're going to get is a warning that they might take a point.
It's literally the only sport I think out there where cheating's a good idea. Like any other sport, if you cheat and you get caught, something happens. In MMA, it's like, don't grab the cage. Don't grab the cage. Don't grab the cage. It's like, why would I not grab the cage? What you going to do? Worst case, you separate me. And then if I do it 17 more times, you'll give me a stern warning.
Don't poke them in the eye again. Don't kick them in the nuts again. Like, it's crazy, man. And like Brad said, like, people don't like, oh, it's just one cage grab. It happens. Like, those specific ones change entire fights. Like Brad said, he was gonna
stop a takedown, get up from the ground.
He would have won the second round, and then probably you would have been surviving the third, but you would have got a fucking decision win out of it, and it changes the fight.
I mean, I really can't think of another sport or instance where blatant cheating is just accepted. Like it's like, what if it's like, take football.
It's encouraged by some parts of this.
Well, like, like if you play football, like cornerback lays out a receiver, ball drops down. Instead of throwing a flag, they're like, "Don't do that again."
Everybody's going to take their warning.
Yep. Yeah. Like there's no sport where blatant, obvious cheating. And I'm not talking about the eye pokes. I'm not talking about the nut shots. I do fully believe those are accidental 90% of the time.
Yeah, most of the time.
The cage grabs are blatant and obvious, purposeful cheating that are completely accepted in MMA. Yep. The cage grabs are something, man. That's
sport.
Like, as soon as you grab a cage that stops a takedown, that's auto point to me. Auto point every single time.
Me and Sean's discussed this a few times. It's either at the very, very least, it's got to be automatic position loss, automatic on your back,
automatic, and if you want it in the center, or if you
full
want
mount,
the guy gets to pick where he wants it, like fucking
full back mount with hooks in the center.
Something that puts you at a massive disadvantage.
It should be a point. It should be a point. I mean,
I don't know, man. I don't want to like take somebody's like chance at a fight win out of it.
You cheated.
I get it. In like cases like this one, probably should be a point because it wins you the fight.
It always
changes around.
I
wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't argue against.
Well, that's the thing. It should either always be a point or never be a point.
It's a rule
right now,
or
it's never a point, which is terrible.
Yeah. It's either a rule or it's not. And like, I understand the ones if like they're both standing and there's some clinch work and the guy's just like putting his hands there and his fingers are in for a second. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about grasp. You can't be like, oh, I tripped and fell and grasped this cage. Like, it's not an accident. It's not like a nut shot where you're going for inner thigh and you hit his dick, or you're feeling him out and you poke him. You're purposely taking your fingers and grabbing a cage. There's no accidents there. It should be a point. It's simple.
Yeah, and over like, because I could get maybe a decade ago, 15 years ago, you could just say, it's just like natural instinct to reach out and grab some.
But these guys train in cages.
Not anymore, man. It is. These guys are trained from so early now. I wouldn't argue a point.
You can't be mad at I've never gotten mad at a fighter. Why would I get mad at a fighter? I'd fucking grab the cage.
No,
we
encourage it on this show because it works. Win, just fucking win, baby. Like,
is there a better takedown defense? Is there a better takedown defense than grabbing the cage so he physically can't take you down? Name something better. Like, fuck a wizard.
Oh, fuck a wizard. Hashtag fuck a wizard.
Fuck a wizard. All right, middleweight division. Alex Pereira defeated Bruno Silva. Unanimous decision. Pretty lackluster, and then he calls out the guy that's getting the title shot next. Bold move, loser. Cut him. Just cut him.
I mean, I love Pereira too, but I tell you what, calling out fucking the Crystal Man is the bad fucking ideal. Like that's a really bad idea.
Besides of him would get his ass kicked, but like this guy just had a boring decision against an unranked guy, and he calls out the number one contender who's getting a title fight next. Like, no, you're fucking. It's like Ankalaev. Like, I purposely wanted to go to decision because I hate fans.
Like, high, but be realistic. Like, what the fuck are we doing here?
Well, I think maybe
I thought this was a fun fight, though. I didn't.
It was boring. It's what I expected.
You can't go to a decision against an unranked guy and then make a call out like that. Like, just call out like Jesus. It's the same thing.
I think he's like, I'm kind of getting old. The UFC knows I'm kind of old.
He's trying to get fast track, but
call out the number 11 ranked guy.
They
don't
want
call
that
out a guy you won't get.
They would definitely want that Izzy rematch, though. It by almost any means necessary. That's a fight you can actually sell because of their history, but you're not gonna get it or anywhere close off beating this dude in your second fucking UFC. There's just no way, man.
No.
This was a way tougher fight than. I mean, it was lined pretty close. Like, this was a tough fight. This was a good fight, a good win for him.
He got tested.
He got tested in some ways he needed to and passed pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah. So move him on up, but not all the way up.
Next fight, fucking banger. Drew Dober defeated Terrence McKinney, knockout. I had Dober in this fight, and I was
awesome.
A tad bit worried early on. I like McKinney, man. He is what he is. Like, this dude's gonna get a lot of people. He gets out almost anyone with the shots landed in that fight. Dober, you can't hurt that guy. Like, he's got that dome and the beautiful chin. Like, you can't hurt that thing. But man, like, big ups to Dober, man. That was tough. Like, he survived and he won, and that was impressive.
There's some other guys that would have found the door.
Lots of guys
when that happened.
Not the door, the match.
Lots.
Yeah. I just hope McKinney doesn't change. Like, this is who you are. This is why you're so dangerous. Don't try to turn yourself into a 15-minute fighter.
No.
Just go for it, and you're going to crush a lot of guys.
And he'll be here forever. Like, he'll always be
Mokaev next.
He'll finish all his fights. Like, this is a huge step up for him.
Dober's nuts, man.
Yeah.
And fighting Dober on like that short of nose shit, props to McKinney, man. That takes some balls, dude. Like, that's a tough fucking dude. Dober's nuts, man. Yeah, that guy's good. He's a really good, durable fighter, man. I like Dober.
He's just gorgeous.
And man, I mean, would you not want to just hit? I mean, god damn.
His chin is so beautifully crafted. There's just no way you can crack it. There's just no way. You can't do it. Love Drew Dober. So I had that in a parlay with someone later. Light heavyweight division, my boy Khalil Roundtree, TKO second round. I had Roundtree as well. When he fights a guy who's gonna bang with him, I'm taking Roundtree every time. And he did it. I think people overestimated him after this though. They were like, oh, when he's motivated. I'm like, no, just a good fucking style matchup versus a loser. But I'll cash the bet and I'll be happy.
Yeah, the fucking the kick was just nuts. Like, they brought the video of him doing it on Tough. Back when he was on Tough, he kicked the shit out of the dude in the ribs twice. Like, the dude
just like rolled over.
Yeah, like don't get kicked in your shit by Khalil Roundtree. Like, bad idea.
Yeah, that was like getting jumped into a gang.
Yeah,
that was awesome. Anyway, all right, move on now. Sodiq Yusuff defeated Alex Caceres 30-27, 30-27, 20-28. I had this with Drew Dober to parlay. That was a pretty lackluster performance from Sodiq, and I was pretty high on this guy about, I don't know, a year or so ago before I left that fight. And like, I've lost all faith in this guy of even being a top 10 fighter at this point. I don't know what's going on with him. He doesn't seem to have it. I don't know. I was really high on this guy.
I was too. I think I overestimated him a bit and underestimated Caceres. Caceres' hands have got better. Like, yeah, the guys he beat on that streak are obviously not that good. Other than the Asian fellow that should have murdered him. But his hands got a little bit better. But yeah, I thought Yusuff was going to be a lot better than this. He doesn't have that much power, and that's always going to be a problem, right?
Yeah.
He's somehow not dangerous and chinny at the same time, and that is not a good combination.
Is that not good?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's not
I
great.
mean, I think I said that night, like if the dude had any sort of power, he would be fucking very,
Yeah.
very good because his striking is great. And he like after the Arnold Allen fight, his takedown defense looks like it's improved. Like Caceres tried like a motherfucker to get him down, and his takedown defense was really good, but he just doesn't have it. Like if you can't get Caceres out of there with some of the shit he landed, the dude just can't hit hard enough, man. He's not going to be
those
a top
leg
dude.
kicks were nice, but
Yeah.
they only go so far. You need the hands.
Yep.
Well,
I mean, he needs to work on his rape joke, and
He does.
obviously, he's training with the guy
to get it
who's
to
known for that.
the
so.
peak. Yeah.
yeah, a little butthole pressure goes a long way.
Yep.
I think that's what he needs to work on. It's weird though, because like when you watch him strike, like you would think he would have power. Like it doesn't make sense why he doesn't have power. Like it seems like he hits hard. He just refuses to hurt people.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like he just doesn't go for it either. I don't think he's just not aggressive enough. He fights too smart, too high IQ of a fight sometimes. Like it's just not going to get you to the upper echelon of those guys, man. It's not going to happen.
Yep. Well, opposite of Sodiq Youssef, co-main event,
Ooh, now
Song
we're
Yadong
Yeah.
knocking out Marlon Moraes. I thought this was I almost went bigger on this, but I didn't. I kind of flat bet for the most part in this card, but it was like I think plus 110 Yadong KO, which that was how he was winning the whole time. I feel bad. I don't feel bad for fighters very often. I feel bad for Moraes. He just seems like such a good dude, and it's just like that chin was just gone. I mean, the last couple of years, and but man,
he's
Song
top five,
Yadong.
right? Isn't Moraes like top five of like chin? Just leaving you like that.
Yep.
Like
Just
it's
gone.
It was this.
'Cause-
He was favored to win the belt. What 2 years ago?
And he was winning the first round.
Yeah, and now he's done. But I mean, I'll say this though, like outside of his chin and everything else, Song Yadong's got some hands on him. Like this kid, he's legit. Like
he's
I never
ridiculous,
backed like
man.
the Asian fighters usually find a way to disappoint you. And they don't really come through and they don't become real contenders. I think maybe Okami was the one that got the closest, but this kid looks legit. Like his hands and we got to see his grappling and stuff like that. But he trains with a bunch of wrestlers.
Yeah, you move to America and train.
Yeah.
That's how you.
His
break that
hands
stigma.
though, he's got clean boxing. It is clean, and he's got big power. Like he has life change. Like that shot I know the chin's gone, but like that didn't seem like the cleanest shot of all time. Moraes was just fucking done. Like he just got power.
Yeah, I love some dong.
Who doesn't?
I mean, just that kid's for real, man. Just when you got power down at those weight classes down there, you're different. Like some dudes just they got hands, they're great technically and shit, but when you can hit like that, man, you're a dude. That guy's a contender. Like he might get there. That might be a dude that gets there.
Out though.
Yeah, I mean,
that's
a
bad idea.
He trains with alpha male. They need somebody to get revenge on Cruz.
They got like we got a guy that might actually be
can finally win.
Be a 40-year-old Dom. You know?
Like if I'm Yadong and I'm young and I'm moving up this division, I'm probably not calling the worst stylistic matchup. I'm probably not doing that. That's probably a bad move.
I think he's confident in that fight with the power that he has.
He gets wrestled.
Dom's chin is...
He wrestles the shit out of him.
It's not... I mean, he's probably going to get landed on. He's probably going to get landed on first.
Man, that's a decent... I didn't mind the call out. That's a name. There's a storyline there. I think he can get Dom out there, so...
I don't know.
I'd lose more money against Dom, probably.
Would have been...
Font would have been a good call.
Font's already matched up, I believe.
He's about to fight. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's fighting
Cheeto Vera on a main event slot.
Did you say main event?
Yeah.
Main event between
Cheeto
Rob
Vera
Font and Cheeto Vera.
Lance. They all want to fight, bro.
Everyone wants to fight.
These guys that want to fight, you got to give them 5-round main event slots. I mean,
did you see financially, 2021 was the UFC's best year ever?
Yeah.
And those were the cards we got. So if I'm the UFC, I'm like, fuck it, who gives a shit? We can grab 2 janitors out back, put them in the cage, and we'll fucking do big numbers. Like, it doesn't matter anymore.
They said another
Buckle
part
in for some shit.
They said another part of it was like the fighters might be getting a little too much, like not paid enough. They might be paying them too much because their profits are so high. Like
They're overpaid.
they're like shit. The product we're paying the product too much. Like we're making our
Nameless,
guys money.
faceless people we can just toss in there.
Can we give like
record
these
amounts.
contender series dudes 2 and 2? Like it's what's about to come down to.
Fuck.
We're really overpaying the
They're gonna be lodging them. He's ready to pull a fucking Uriah Faber and just start lodging these motherfuckers. Build you in a fucking apartment complex behind the fucking Apex. Lodge these motherfuckers, just roll them in, body under body.
The new Apex is just going to be an old Marriott
A fucking Ramada
with a cage in the conference room, and they're all just going to sleep there. And it's going to be like, all right, we got room number 618 versus room number 217. Come on down.
They don't
Main
even
event
have
time.
names anymore. They're just fucking room numbers. Tattoo your room number.
Yeah, room 217 is training at AKA, so we give him a slight edge. he has video conferencing with AKA.
He's on the AKA floor.
For dorms. Oh God, too much. Main event. We won't talk too much about this, but Ankalaev defeated Thiago Santos pretty cleanly for the most part, outside of a round. That was just such a horrifying display, and there was so much wrong with it. One, like the path of least resistance for him was to get him on the ground, right?
Wrestle. Yep.
He didn't do that, and somehow found the way to
Right,
be
right.
10 times more boring. And then after the fight, acts like he did it on purpose. Like, he's trying to, make sure I can go. What? Like, I bet Dana White heard that and was like, this motherfucker, he's dead. We're taking him from 12-12 to 10-10 after that for that main
I
event.
mean, he immediately said that like he's out of contention. Like
Yeah.
right that night was like,
Yeah.
no, he's out of contention. He's not getting any kind of title shot or nothing.
No,
What an
nothing.
idiot. What a fucking idiot, man.
And how good is the
He
Bear
should
Jew?
never get a title shot.
I mean, Bear Jew, what a man. He just knocks out main event fighters and then gets buried on the prelims. Love it. So good. Anyway, Ankalaev, he stinks. He absolutely, and what a quitter. He tapped out with 1 second left for a triangle. Who does that?
Sad.
Always a quitter.
I mean, like honestly though, the dude is skilled. You just hate to see somebody with
fight.
that kind of mindset, man. Like, come on, dude.
Well, he's putting
he
himself-
could have got Santos out of there like multiple times. Got that dude out of there with ease. Like, and then just get the fuck out of here. That dude's an idiot. But just by pure stupidity, that dude should never sniff a title shot.
The interview was actually worse than the fight.
Yeah,
And
that's where he fucked himself worse. Was the interview?
Yeah, and that's tough because that fight fucking sucked. Ugh. All right.
It's good that this all ended early because the Bellator main event was actually very entertaining.
I didn't
Great
watch
fight.
it. I was tired.
That was a really, really good fight, man. Really,
It was
good.
the underdog Boric's one, right?
Yeah. Masvidal versus that was a really fucking good fight, man.
Yeah, I didn't see that one. I had enough for the day. All right.
After that main event, I can see why.
Yep.
That's
Brad
the
was
life
falling
out of
asleep talking about it again.
Like I get off like a 4-hour flight. I get home and I watch that garbage. It just took the fucking life out of me. I was like, I am done.
It's
I'm going to bed.
Ankalaev, man. Ankalaev.
Jan Kalai.
Terrible. All right. Let's
Pretty good.
let's move on
That's
to
pretty
UFC London, which is this weekend, with I would say a pretty good card. I mean, like outside of a couple fights, like this is a really, really strong card. A lot of interesting matchups, a lot of interesting fighters. I'm excited for this one. So we'll start right off in the flyweight division. Muhammad Random Russian versus Cody Durden. Cody Durden's the racist guy, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's friends with Bro Hugs.
Then
Yep.
said he's not race buddy. You know.
He's not
Racist.
racist. I thought he was
Well, he said afterwards that he was just like, hyping,
being racist, but not
yeah,
racist.
hyping himself up.
Yeah, just
Don't-
kidding.
Don't take it the wrong way. Like,
What's
he
worse, being racist or being friends with Bro Hugs?
oh man, I don't know what's worse actually.
I mean, at least he has like he was born and raised racist. He has no excuse for interacting with someone like Bro Hugs.
For choosing.
He's genetically inclined to be racist, not be friends with Bro Hug. It's like the Chappelle though. What do you say? Like I'm genetically disposed to liking chicken. That's Durden, but racist. Oh God! All right, new Sean.
I don't have much here. From what I have seen, some of the clips on Mokaev, whatever.
Mukaev.
Mokaev, the Mokaev. We'll see after the fight if that is a good name for him. He seems okay, but probably overhyped. But Cody Durden is very, very stupid and very bad. So I'll probably pick the Mook, but
He's English.
I mean,
Yeah, art.
Didn't
He
see that
moved
coming.
from Russia to England when he was a kid, like 10 years ago or something.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Wes.
Yeah, I don't have much here either. Durden is absolutely trash. I've seen this Russian Mook fight, but I absolutely cannot remember it. I watched some of these Brave cards, but I have no memory of this guy. So just hard to lay that kind of money on somebody I don't know much about. But Durden is just, man, he's so bad. So fucking bad. So just a pass for me. I'll pick the Russian Mook and Tout Master, but I got nothing on this fight, man.
Brad.
Yeah, it's definitely tough to lay a price like this on a 21-year-old making his UFC debut, but I think he probably wins because Durden, he's not terrible for the first 5 minutes. And then after the first round, he is terrible. So I feel like this guy looks like he can wrestle a little bit, keep a good pace. He'll tire Durden out and win a decision, maybe stop him late.
Hey, Teddy.
Teddy,
What's up, dude?
Big Ted.
I'm not betting this one. I'm not gonna pick Durden. He's terrible. He has no qualities. Everything about this kid sucks. I hate him, so I'm gonna root against him. But like Brad said, it's hard to bet in a 21-year-old making his debut at that line. But I do think he wins, but just not touching it. So all right, women's strawweight: Corey McKenna, Elise Reed. No idea. New Sean?
yeah, I don't have anything here. Reed getting smashed inside of one by Sajara Eubanks is a pretty big red flag. McKenna's not good, but she's probably good enough.
Yep, Wes.
Yeah, Reed absolutely fucking stinks. I think McKenna is definitely good enough to get a win here. It's not something I want to lay that kind of price on, but she probably definitely gets a decision in this spot.
Brad?
I do not fucking care.
Me either. I guess I'll take McKenna. All right.
Yeah, I'll take her and Tout Master.
Bantamweight division: Jack Shore, Timur Valiev. Like, this is a pretty damn good fight for buried in the card, right?
It
Yeah.
shouldn't be
Yes.
buried this far on the card. It's that good of a fight.
I mean, Bear Jew's next, who's
That's-
arguably maybe a top 5 fighter in the division. So
It's
New Sean?
insane.
I like Jack Shore here. Obviously, the line's moved a bunch now. I haven't been overly impressed with Valiev coming into the UFC. Getting smoked out or gassing against Jones and getting smoked in the second was not a good sign. I guess he's looked better since then, but Jack Shore's got good wrestling. I think he can get some takedowns. He's got a good sub game. He could probably force. I think he's going to force Valiev to scramble and wrestle, and I give him the edge there. So I took him small, plus 134 for a unit.
Wes?
Yeah, this is a tough fight for me. I've kind of gone back and forth, but I don't know. I think Valiev has gotten a lot better lately off of that Jones fight. I don't know, not a lot better, but he's definitely improved, and I kind of think this is gonna be something more of a kickboxing match more than anything. I think it's close on the feet. Maybe Shore gets some takedowns, Valiev's takedown defense has been pretty good. I don't know. I guess the price that Sean got, and I believe Brad was a lot better. Probably more that you would think about taking the dog in the spot. But man, as an even price fight, I just think it's going to be one of those close 29-29, 29-28s either way. So I guess the plus money was a good side, but I feel like Valiev might get a close decision in this spot.
Brad?
I think this is going to be a competitive fight, but the fact that Jack Shore keeps a high pace, regardless of if his wrestling is working or not, is probably going to edge him a decision, and it's probably going to start to swing more in his favor by the third round. I think he can tire Valiev out a little bit. Like Sean, I haven't been super impressed by Valiev. I mean, he looked good in the Trevin Jones fight and then got melted. I mean, we just saw a debuting guy look good against Trevin Jones for the whole fight. He beat Martin Day and didn't even finish him. And then he had a draw against Barcelos. Like, that's a draw, that fight. So, I don't know. I think Shore just outworks him in this fight, and I got plus 137, so I took it.
Yeah, I like Jack Shore here quite a bit. I don't get the love on Valiev. I guess it's just that Russian love. That people think he's better than he is because he's Russian, which happens a lot, even more so lately with a couple more dominant guys.
Got a lot of big fighters. He's fought a lot of decent competition for years, though.
He's okay. He's very
he's okay. Yeah,
he's very average. I don't know if Shore's this top 5 potential kind of guy, but like I've been very impressed with Jack Shore, and I think he's got decent wrestling. I think he's got decent jiu-jitsu. I think his stand-up prop is not the best, but I think it's good enough here. And I think he's going to be able to dictate where this fight goes. I think his scrambling ability, I think his cardio are going to be the difference makers here. And I just think he's just a better overall grappler once it hits the ground. And I like Jack Shore here, and he's fighting at home. And I think all of these UK guys are going to be just fucking out of their mind on this card. This is the first they've had a London card or any card in the UK in 3 years. And those guys are always a bit fucking nuts. And I give a lot of edges. I think the crowd is going to be a factor. And I think these guys' mindsets and how they're feeling is going to be important. And obviously with the close fight, judges listen to the noise. They're very stupid. So I think the UK guys have a lot of edges. And I think Shore just overall with that I think he's just a better fighter. So I like Shore here at plus money. So I will be betting on Jack Shore. All right, let's now move to the main event of the evening. Despite my biases of, obviously the Bear Jew, this is the weirdest spot on a card I've ever seen. You have a couple top 10 guys, a guy who's beaten the last couple main event fighters, and he's popular too. The Bear Jew is very popular. He's buried on this card. I don't understand it. I don't think it matters. It's fine, whatever. But probably the best fight in the card. Like literally, it's probably the best fight in the card. I think it's right. Probably the best one. Anyway, light heavyweight division: Nikita Krylov, Bear Jew, Donnie Donowitz. You, Sean?
Yeah, the UFC does some dumb things when scheduling bout orders. We see it almost every week. This is
crazy,
extra bad.
Very bad.
Is Krylov smart enough not to engage grappling with Bear Jew?
He doesn't even know what country.
One, I don't think he is. Two, I don't think it matters. Because even if he doesn't, Bear Jew will force it, and either he'll get a takedown or Krylov will be forced into taking him down, and then it's game on. Krylov's last 8 fights, the only person not to take him down was Johnny Walker. Now, obviously, there's a bit of a gap there because he went away from the UFC and then came back, and it seems like he's obviously better than his first run. I just like Bear Jew in this. Like, the striking, I think Bear Jew can survive. Like, not even just survive, I think he can compete. Like, obviously Krylov has the edge there, but I just don't know how long this is going to be in a distance striking fight. I think these guys are going to clash and it's going to be grappling, and you got to favor Bear Jew there. So I put a unit on Bear Jew at plus 165, and then I tossed him inside the distance at plus 325 for a unit as well.
I mean, Bear Jew just fucked Shogun up on the feet. I mean, just fucked his life up. So who knows? Wes?
Well, yeah, and also I saw some shit on Twitter that people were like, well, Krylov, man, he hits hard. So it's like, even if Bear Jew can, maintain up there, if Krylov lands, I'm like, the last dude that Krylov has knocked out in a fight, Fabio Maldonado.
I was gonna say,
and before that, it was fucking Emmanuel Newton. Like, those are the last two dudes that guy's knocked out. Like,
both not in the UFC.
Yeah.
And so who knows what kind of good stuff he was on in those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like, look, Krylov he's better since he's come back to UFC. There's no doubt about that. But his game is get you up against the cage and try to get a takedown and work you on the mat. Like, what the fuck are we hoping for here? We wouldn't Bear Jew on the mat going to work. Like, come on. I think it's a great matchup. I've never been the biggest Bear Jew better. I have recently, still PTSD though from the Jamal Hill fight. Like, I'm not doing that again this time. It's not going to happen.
You learned your lesson.
I've learned my lesson, but I can
inflatable arm guy.
Yeah, straight up. I can still get inside the distance at plus 330 here on the Bear Jew. Yeah. I'm absolutely taking some of that, and I'm playing him straight too. Just I'm covering all bases. I'm not gonna kind of looking at it like I'm not gonna lose out on a really good dog bet. I feel here, just in case this does see the cards. I think Bear Jew can win rounds. He's gonna choke this guy.
I don't know if he's ever won a round.
I think you can against it's just going to be on the mat and it's going to be Bear Jew working. So yeah. I could see it. It's not out of the realm of possibility for me. So I'm playing him straight. Bear Jew he's going to choke this guy. It's going to happen. Krylov is getting into something. He's going to get subbed here. I think Bear Jew is a great bet in this spot.
Yeah, I was looking. So I thought it was he's never won by decision.
So you got to draw with Shogun. That's the only time.
So if you take out that draw, in his 19 fights, he's never been to the cards. that's how Beautiful. A fucking Bear Jew.
Yeah, it's definitely it's probably not gonna happen, but I think this is a really good spot for Bear Jew, and I'm not gonna lose out on any of the dog money. I'm taking him inside the distance too. Do not get me wrong. I think he chokes this guy, but I'm covering myself on what I think is a really good spot for Craig in this fight.
Yeah, I get it. I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to put an entire unit half straight on the sub and just call it a fucking day and watch my boy. Brad.
Why that last fight, I'll never get. That's one of my worst losses ever, dude. Like, seriously, that me and Brad's half lit watching that over a Zoom, and I'm just like, we're both dying. Like, there's no way we're watching this guy's arm just inflatable air on his chest. Like,
was that Herb? Who was that? Was that Herb?
Oh,
I can't remember.
No.
Had to be Herb.
I feel like that might have been like a Mark Smith.
Could have been Tognoni.
Yeah.
You'd be like, hey, is your arm okay? Are you okay? Hey, I need you to flex your arm. There, Jamal.
Oh man, that was something else. But
that was Al Guinea. I remember that. He fucking did not he was a terrible ref, and I don't think there was another night where they pulled him.
And Bear Jew hasn't fought since
probably that night.
Hill's won a main event.
Yep. There's a lot of angles to attack this one. Obviously, I'm betting Bear Jew. I took some money line already. I don't think that's the best bet on this fight because, I mean, you can get Bear Jew inside at what, plus 330 still, the subs plus 450 still. It's weird to see people try and explain this one when they're picking Krylov because they're like, oh man, he just needs to keep it on the feet. But he's a grappler and he always grapples. Like, I think I looked it up, and in his last 4 fights, he's shot like 20 takedowns. What do you think is going to happen here? They are going to grapple. even if Krylov doesn't actually try and take him down, which I expect him to, Craig's going to pull guard, and Krylov will then grapple with him, because once he starts grappling, he's just one of those guys that accepts, okay, we're grappling now, and he's going to get submitted. And that's how it's going to happen. So, Bear Jew.
Yeah, I think for me, the reason I wouldn't, like, I get being safe. I can't even see a way that Bear Jew's probably going to end up on top in this fight. Like, I literally think
he could sweep. He could absolutely sweep
Yeah.
Krylov. Absolutely.
He doesn't, though.
He could.
He wants to be on his back.
He's just going to hit the triangle.
He wants a triangle.
I agree. I think I think you're absolutely right.
And I'm usually safer with the inside the distance and subs and stuff versus
I'm taking that big number.
Taking money line, but like the 450 to me is one of the worst lines I've ever seen. And I would hate myself if I don't just absolutely bomb that line, because it's so let's say you're calling this fight 50-50, right? Let's say this is a close to a 50-50 fight, whatever it is. Bear Jew wins all of his fights by sub unless the referee is drunk, and it's plus 450. And Krylov loses all of his fights by sub. So Krylov has, how many losses does he have? He has 8 career losses, 5 by sub. So you got a guy who only wins by sub, not to do MMA, Sherdog math or whatever, versus a guy who always loses. But Craig is so comfortable on his back. He doesn't give a shit. And it's like anytime a guy, and Krylov does a decent ground and pound, he starts to open up a little bit. That's what Bear Jew wants, because once you start opening up, that's when that triangle comes in. And like I was telling someone earlier, I was like, I'd probably bet triangle at plus 400. Like literally, if it was like Bear Jew by triangle plus 400, I would 100% take it, because that's the fight outcome. So as you know, is expected, Munich. We were
never in doubt, Munich.
The Bear Jew, Munich, it goes together. Donnie fucking Donowitz. It's all in alignment here. So we love the Bear Jew. Big fan. All right.
You playing him straight, or you playing sub from Munich?
Sub.
There we go.
Sub. Bang it home. Plus 450. Bear Jew sub. Easy. All right. Heavyweight division. What a weird fucking fight. Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Sergey Pavlovich, who has not fought in 2.5 years. So he's really skyrocketing that career. Nushan?
Yeah. That is a rough thing. 2.5 years is a long time.
That is.
But that's also 2.5 years that Abdurakhimov has been aging. And he's 40 going on 55. So I don't care. Like it is 2.5 years. Abdurakhimov is terrible, and he's fucking old, and he's there to get a paycheck. It's a huge number. I still took it. I chalked it up. I got 2 units on it with another fighter later on.
Wes?
Yeah, the only question in this fight is, I think, how long? Like, is this worth a sprinkle on the FGF? Like plus money FGF, like that's the only
30.
That's the only question here for me, because I think Pavlovich is gonna get him out of here. This dude sucks. He's a bum, man. Tough bum that usually lasts to the second round though. So that's just kind of why I'm eyeing that plus money on a 1.5. But yeah, I like Pavlovich. I got him parlayed as well. I think he gets him out. It's probably in the first round, probably. But yeah, I like Pavlovich.
Fight starts round 2 is minus 110.
There you go.
I mean, dude, Abdurakhimov makes second rounds a lot. The dude usually quits in the second a lot.
He puts his hard 5 in there, and then he's done.
Brad?
I can't bet Pavlovich here. I can't. I'm just trying to figure out if I can bet Sharif by decision in this spot.
Oh my goodness.
Because, man, this dude is not above making a fight absolutely terrible to watch. We've seen it for years. I'm not sure if physically he's up to it anymore, and that's why I haven't bet it yet. But,
600.
man, I don't think Pavlovich is good. I mean, he's physical enough that he just bulldozes most of the dudes that he faces because they're shitty heavyweights. And I think Sharif's bordering on shitty heavyweight territory at 40. Oh, but I'm probably going to pick him in Toutmaster. because I think he's gonna
Damn.
make it clinchy and ugly, and then we'll see what Pavlovich has after 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll take Sergey here. I'm not betting it. I mean, a 2.5 layer layoff that's a long layoff. That is a very long layoff, and I never thought he was anything special in the first place. And to Brad's point, like this could get dirty, ugly pretty quick. Big layoff, like I don't know. This is not a spot I'd want to lay that kind of number. And there's just no piece of this fight that really interests me. So I'll pick Sergey, but it's going to be no bet here. All right, featherweight division: Mike Grundy versus McCann Amirkhani. You, Sean.
We talked about the Bear Jew Krylov fight where both guys want to grapple. It's kind of inevitable. I think that's the same thing that's gonna happen in this fight. Grundy is a wrestler through and through, and Amirkhani wants to snatch up a neck, and I think Grundy's gonna give him a lot of opportunities. Amirkhani inside, I found it plus 540 at the sketchy Russian book. I had to throw a half unit on that. That's a big number. I just think there's going to be a lot of opportunities for Amirkhani, and when he wins, he's usually snatching up necks. So I definitely could see that happen there. So I'll pick Amirkhani.
Wes?
Yeah, I kind of look at this fight the same way, Sean. I think it's gonna be a lot of grappling and scrambling. I think Gundy's gonna want to wrestle, and it's not like Amirkhani's got like the greatest takedown defense, so it's probably gonna get to the mat. And yeah, does Amirkhani catch something? I don't know, maybe. I'm gonna pick Amirkhani here, but I'm still kind of deciding if I'm gonna make a play here. I think Sean's on the right track. Just if you like him, maybe getting something by sub or inside the distance or something like that. So yeah, I'll pick Amirkhani and maybe a bet on sub.
Fred?
Yeah, this line's creeping up pretty high. The sub line's like plus 600. So obviously not quite as good as what Sean got with that inside line, but man, I don't think anyone's really out-wrestled Amirkhani in the UFC. And Mike Grundy's a fine wrestler, but I don't think that he's a great wrestler. I mean, we talk about his international accolades because he went to some world tournaments and got smoked. He didn't win anything at any of them.
Because he's
so.
like English and makes an actual tournament. So you got to bump him up a little bit.
So, like, I don't know. I think Amirkhani can win the wrestling here. I think he's more dangerous in submission game. If it stays on the feet, probably a little edge to Grundy because he's got more power, but I think it's kind of 50-50 there. So might take a shot on Amirkhani or maybe that Amirkhani sub prop.
Yeah, I like Amirkhani here actually as well. I think he might have I would say Grundy has a slight edge in the wrestling. I think he is a little bit better wrestler, but I think Amirkhani is light years ahead of him once it gets there. I think we could see some sweeps here. Also, Grundy does tire out. I don't think he can go 15 hard. I think it could be Grundy laying on top of him for the first 5 minutes. And then I think the second and third round, I think Amirkhani is going to be a little bit fresher, Grundy gassing out. And I think we see some sweeps. I think we see Amirkhani start controlling the fight in the second and third round from top position. I don't know if he'll get a sub. I think he's going to go for some subs, but I could see him also just maintaining control, throwing some ground and pound, maybe going for some subs here and there. But I think the money line is a solid play here. So I am going to be picking and betting Mach 1 Amirkhani here. Yay. All right.
People are talking about him gassing, but I think like the third round of his against Edson was his best round. I think his cardio has looked a lot better lately.
Yep.
Yeah, and Grundy has shit cardio.
Yes.
So I'll give edge Mach 1. All right, main card, lightweight division. Jai Herbert, Topuria. That guy's crazy, by the way. Topuria is crazy. Like that whole thing, it's like, I'll kill you, motherfucker. Like that's what MMA guys say. Yeah, I don't think he was kidding.
No.
I don't like him.
I
don't
do.
like him.
I like him.
Yeah.
He's a good fighter.
I like him more.
He's a good fighter. I think he's just, I don't know.
I like him more than Patty. So yeah.
I like Topuria.
That's not a
Please
high
make
bar.
that matchup.
Yeah, please.
That's not a
Please
high
make that
bar,
line.
Wes.
Yeah.
Topuria is good. He's good.
Yeah, he is. It's a weird fight. Obviously, Topuria had some weight cutting issues that kind of pulled him out of the fight where he was actually supposed to fight Valiev, which I thought was going to be a fun matchup against with two good prospects. And then he has a weight cutting issue. Obviously, he's taken this fight on a little bit late notice, up a weight class. I don't know if that's something where he just wants to test the weight cut to make sure he's okay cutting 55, and the next time he'll be back to 45. He's very fucking good. He's got very good ground and pound. I think he takes down and smashes Herbert. It's obviously a giant number. It's a giant number for a reason. Topuria is very good. I think he won't fuck around on the feet too long. He'll go where it's going to be good for him. So I put him in that parlay with Pavlovich. It's like minus 145 when I took it for 2 units. Loving the chalk this week.
It's crazy because Topuria was like a bantamweight not that long ago. Wes?
Yeah, Herbert's definitely going to have a size and reach advantage on him in this fight. That's for sure. But, I mean, I don't want to see him fucking around on the feet too much because I think Herbert does have some decent striking and does have that reach and a little bit of pop. But, man, I think Topuria gets this to the mat fairly quickly and goes to work on Herbert. Yeah, I think the kid's really good. I would have loved to seen that Ankalaev fight. That was a really nice matchup of two really good young fighters. But we get this one, so yeah, I got Topuria in a chalk parlay with Pavlovich and somebody else on the card. So yeah, just some chalk, eating some chalk on those.
Brad?
Yeah, I can't find a reason to go against Topuria here. I think he is going to be quite outsized, but I don't think it matters because Herbert's chin is a bit iffy, his takedown defense is real bad, and his grappling is also not good. So Topuria can win it wherever he really wants to. It should be on the ground, but I don't know. I think he's kind of stupid. I think he's like too crazy to have a long-term successful career. I feel like he makes some bad decisions, and I don't know. I mean, he calls people rats for pulling out of fights and then pulls out of fights himself and misses weight and all that. Ducks
that was very MMA of him.
Ducks Canadians. I mean, nobody ducks a Canadian. So he's good. He's gonna win here, but I don't know. There's something missing for me.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I watched Topuria fight, and every fight's a little bit different. He just looks great everywhere. He's developed some good power. His jiu-jitsu is really good. His wrestling's good enough. He just seems like if he could get his weight and his mind under control, like this guy, if he gets back down to 145, like he's good. He is very, very good, and he's good everywhere. I think in this fight, it's an easy matchup for him. It's smart for him to get back out there, get a win. Even going up a weight class here, and I think he's gonna look easy for him doing it. So really like Topuria here. I looked, the inside the distance was only like minus 200, I think. So it wasn't that bad for a parlay piece. So I'll probably have something on Topuria inside. All right, women's flyweight division. No, I'm not kidding. Molly McCann, Carolina. Who cares? Anything? You guys got anything?
I'll pick Carolina. Molly is terrible. She needs to get takedowns. I don't know if she's going to get them, and she's horrible on the feet. And she is stealing the Bear Jew's main event slot, so I hate her.
So is fucking Gunny Nelson's up. Give me a break. Wes?
Yeah, I can't believe this fight is up here over Bear Jew. And yeah, McCann stinks, man. I've tried to fade this chick so much. She got me last time. I probably can't bet this, but I'm definitely picking against her and Talmaster. She's horrible.
Brad?
So we take Bear Jew off the main card for a fight that is minus 300 to go to a decision between two people that nobody care about.
Yeah, that's right.
What are we doing here? Picking the dog in Toutmaster. This is offensive.
It is. I got nothing. Speaking of offensive, this next one is as well. And the next one after that. All right, welterweight division. Gunny Nelson, Takashi Sato, just what the fuck? News John.
No, what even is this, bro?
What the fuck? I didn't know either of these guys were in the UFC still. That's
yeah. Nelson, another guy, 2.5-year layoff that I'm backing. What could go wrong?
You won't have to worry by this point because the other one already go wrong for you.
Oh, okay, good. So hopefully I'll split at least the guys off huge layoffs. Sato just isn't that good. He can be taken down. Bilal took him down. Baeza took him down. Gunner's going to get him down. And then once it's on the ground, Gunner should snatch up a sub. Gunner getting beat up by
everyone.
What's his name? Gilbert Burns last time. Not the greatest look.
Gilbert Burns was on that run though at that point. Like,
yeah, that was like the Masvidal run. I don't know, or something.
Gunner has one win in like 4 years, and it was against Cowboy.
That is concerning. He's obviously, I think he's still training with Kavanaugh, which is also a bad sign. I can't believe I have money on a Kavanaugh fighter, but here we are. I think Gunner gets him down and subs him. So I took Nelson inside at -115 for unit.
Yeah. Has he ever?
Yeah, I mean his losses though are Gilbert Burns, Leon Edwards, and Pontoon Boat.
Pontoon Boat.
I don't know who that middle guy is, but
he was fighting some of the upper echelon of the division at that point.
I agree. What's the sub line, like -200?
Even money.
No, I got inside at -115.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean, look, Sato isn't great, and Sato loves to get taken down and sub. Like this is a perfect matchup for him. Like not even Kavanaugh could game plan this fuck up. Like he couldn't
keep it on the feet, Gunny.
Hey, would you be shocked at that? Like, but Gunner's gonna get a takedown here, and when he does, it's either gonna be sub or control for as long as he wants. So
until Sato gasses and then gets sub.
I just put him in the chalk parlay. It is a 2.5-year layoff, so I didn't want to invest too much. So chalk parlay with those other two pieces for a couple units.
Brad.
Yeah, this is another spot where I think the chalk rolls. I mean, the guy that Sato fought last time, he gave up that dude's first career submission win. So we're talking, and he also got stopped by Bilal Muhammad. So
who couldn't stop a fucking runny nose at this point. Like,
Gunnar Nelson sub -110 is like it seems like a pretty solid bet.
Probably.
Yeah, I think I have to take that because on one hand we've got a guy who's one win in the last 4 years is Cowboy. On the other hand, it's Jason Witt. So I'll take Cowboy in that equation. Man, yeah, like there's a big chalk parlay that works on this card, I think, and that Gunny sub prop is it seems too good to be true.
Yeah, I mean, not to go back to being simple with MMA betting, but it really is this easy. Sato sucks, gets subbed by everyone. Gunnar Nelson, I don't even know the last time he won by anything but sub. -110. Seems easy. And it's weird. Like Gunny's like almost -500, but it's only -110 by sub, which is how he literally wins all of his fights. I don't know if he's won by decision in the UFC. I think every single one of his fights has been a sub. I think
like
there's
he had some boring ones.
Has he? I feel like he got late finishes in this. Let's look.
He took George Santiago to decision for his only UFC decision, and that was back in 2013.
So that was a long time ago.
Good for him.
Yeah,
he's nothing but sub wins since then.
Yeah, so
maybe it's just he loses boring decisions.
Yes, he does.
He's lost.
Yeah, when somebody can control him.
Yeah, when he can't get a sub, then it's bad.
Yeah,
that ain't Sato. Yeah,
he's only been finished once in his career too, so he usually loses boring decisions if he doesn't grab a sub. So makes sense. Yeah. But yeah, I'll probably have a bet on Gunny sub here. So all right, lightweight division. Fuck, Paddy Pimblett versus Kazula Vargas. What a depressing fucking placement. You can't fade Paddy in this. You just can't.
No, and I want to, and I probably will next fight. I hope Paddy Pimblett knocks this dude out in like a minute, absolutely steamrolls him, and then whoever he fights next, we can get a good line. Vargas is terrible. Pimblett is not good. Like there is some hype. The guy talks a bunch of shit, so hopefully they kind of rush him into some bad stylistic matchups and we can cash in because I just don't think he's good. He almost got finished by Vendramini. And yeah, that is something. He's gonna win here though.
Yep, Wes.
Yeah, Luigi was mushroom stamping that ass early on. And look, Pimblett's going to talk himself into some shit like Sean O'Malley. The only thing with Pimblett is he's a moron. Sean O'Malley is at least smart enough to like, I want to fight every bum you can give me. Pimblett's going to be like, I want the best. Give me a top 10
Topuria.
guy. Yeah, I want Topuria. And I'm with Sean like, this ain't the guy. But please, Pimblett, I hope he knocks him out in 30 seconds, highlight reel, and we get a decent matchup next time because he is not that good, man. He's absolutely gonna win this fight, though.
Brad?
He's gonna win. This is part of that chalk parlay that works. I don't think it's gonna be super quick here, though. I was kind of looking at the over 1.5 in this spot. Vargas has been stopped once in his career, and it was like 3 or 4 fights into his career against Alex Caceres' brother, who all of that dude's wins are by subs, including Usman. So I think Pimblett, yeah, I think Pimblett wins, but I don't think he looks great. I think it might be by decision here. So I don't know. I'm kind of considering that.
I was kind of thinking of the opposite if I was going to bet this fight of Brad. Patty wins when he wins his fights quick. He always comes out like a bat out of hell. He has no defense and he's super powerful and can finish in the ground. He's not one to play around, and he comes in and he wins or he loses, and that's kind of his style. And most of the lines you saw in the first round were pretty like Patty round 1. Most places was like 120, like plus 120, plus 130. FanDuel had plus 200, which I don't think is bad. FanDuel sometimes is just they're like 75 cents off. Sometimes
they opened it 240. They opened that plus 240.
You can get the openers there. Sometimes they'll even stay there, but the openers they got
it's
some
still
of the
at
worst.
200. It's still 70 cents.
It's still
off.
at 200. Bet online is 200 as well, but most other places it's around plus 120.
Yeah,
actually, I'm just scrolling through here, and Bet Online has Patty sub round 1 at plus 500.
I think he's gonna knock him out.
Really?
Yeah. I think
You've watched Patty Pimblett fight before, like other than his last fight, right?
Yeah.
He jumps for a lot of chokes.
He does, but this guy is a fucking giant dumpster fire, and I think he's gonna throw hands with him.
He's Mexican.
It worked out so well last time.
Hey,
look, I really hope this isn't one of those times where like we're gonna give it one more and Patty ends up getting laid out in front of his own fucking crowd.
Vargas is bad, man.
I think Patty has a chin on him.
Yeah, he does. All right. Probably no bet on this fight though. All right, let's now move to featherweight division. Arnold Allen versus Dan Hooker. You, Sean?
Does Arnold Allen have the quietest 8-fight win streak in the UFC?
He beats bums by decision, and he fights once a year.
He's only beat a couple decent guys in that run.
And it's always decision. He never talks. You literally forget he exists right after he fights, and then a year later, you're like, "Oh yeah, that guy," because he's so inactive.
Like, he's not bad. I'd like to see him fight somebody decent. And
but we forget about him. Eh.
He's getting a shot here. I didn't like what I saw from him against Yusuf. Yusuf won like 90% of that fight. He landed that head kick and then clipped him again in the second, but he was losing that whole round by volume the entire round. That's not a great look. Dan Hooker is a pretty big step up here. I know obviously Hooker is going down. He's been at 55 for a while. Obviously, that was a pretty bad showing against Mac and Cheese. That was a paycheck before he heads home. Hooker's fucking good, man. His striking is good. I think his takedown defense is going to be good at 45. I just think he's going to throw more volume and just land a bunch more on Allen, and I think he can win. It's probably going to be by decision. Arnold's seems to be fairly durable, but I think it's going to be an exciting fight as long as Hooker's doing the thing. So I got a unit on him for at plus 100.
Wes?
Yeah, I was on Allen against Youssef, and man, it wasn't great. A lot of that fight, like he got pieced up quite a bit. I think in this fight, man, like Hooker is going to be he's going to be massive at 45, man. The reach advantage. You saw Youssef keep a little distance and get in and out on Allen. Man, Hooker might land some big stuff on him, dude. I think his takedown defense is good enough to keep this up. Yeah, I kind of like Hooker here, and I've been an Allen fan. I've bet on him almost every one of his fights and made some pretty good money on him. I just think this is a really big step up, and if Hooker makes 145, without any kind of troubles, man, just all the physical advantages are going to be his in this fight. And the dude is a really good striker. I mean, yeah, he's gotten clipped by some of the, biggest punchers a weight class up. That ain't Allen. That's for sure. I don't think he's got to worry about that. So yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Hooker got him out of there in the second or third round, but more than likely probably a kind of kickboxing decision for Hooker. And man, him at some plus money in this spot it's pretty good. I gotta take some of it.
Brad?
Yeah, this one, I don't know. I originally thought that Allen had momentum coming in, and I think I'm thinking back to his earlier UFC fights where he was a bit more dynamic and actually finished some dudes, but he was losing almost all of those fights. Like, he is usually losing his fights until he has a big moment. So as long as all of the wars and the damage and cutting down to 145 doesn't catch up with Hooker, I think he beats Arnold Allen in this fight. Maybe a finish, because he is capable of finishing people, more than likely because Allen likes to dance around the outside and not throw anything and look for those big moments. It's probably a decision for Hooker. But I ended up actually liking Hooker quite a bit in this fight, and I've bet against this dude a million times, so that's weird for me.
Yeah, I like Dan Hooker here. I think when you look at who they both face, I do think that is very important. I mean, Hooker's faced just an absolute murderer's row at 155. I mean, outside of even the losses. So he, obviously lost to Mokaev, Chandler, and Poirier. But I mean, he was beaten, he beat Gilbert Burns. He beat Vic, who's just one of the greatest fighters who ever lived. That James Vick is just top talent. But he's faced really, really good guys. I mean, you could make an argument this is the worst fighter he's faced, since James Vick. And you could go back further before that if you take him out of the mix. He's been facing really top competition, and I think as long as the weight cut's good here, I think he should be a pretty large favorite here. Arnold Allen has never really impressed me. He's average at everything. He's not exceptional at anything, and he also doesn't have a ton of holes. But he's not very active. He's definitely more of a point fighter. I think if this fight's on the feet, I think Hooker just beats the shit out of him. I think my only worry here is if Allen tries to wrestle a little too much and Hooker kind of struggles. But I think, getting down to 145, being a little bit bigger than he was at 155, I think is going to help. And I think he can just keep this fight standing. And I think on the feet, he has a large advantage. I don't know if he gets a finish, but the finish is going to be out there. It's definitely possible. Hooker does have some pretty big power. And I think this is the right move for Hooker. I don't think he was this big, 155 pounder. I think this is going to be the good weight class for him. And if he gets a win right here, he immediately jumping himself up into decent competition at 145. So I like Dan Hooker here at plus money. And this will also be the consensus bet of the week. Dan Hooker, which is funny because I bet against Dan Hooker, like Brad said, almost every time. But we'll go with him here. So Dan Hooker, consensus bet of the week. All right, let's move on to the main event as well as the worst fight of the evening. We have in the heavyweight division, Alexander Volkov versus Tom Aspinall. New Sean.
So if this wasn't heavyweight, I would probably be all over Volkov. I probably should be anyway. Volkov's obviously been in there with much better guys. He's shown durability. He's shown good cardio. At heavyweight, that doesn't matter as much as every other weight class. Aspinall is obviously a guy that when he wins, it's damn near always in round one. Volkov's shown good durability. I don't know what it is. I just for some reason I'm seeing Aspinall putting Volkov out early. I know he kind of started slow against Andrei Arlovski, and then I guess just figured it out in the second. That was such a weird switch up to that fight. In theory, Volkov should be good in this matchup. He's longer. He uses it okay. For some reason, I just see Aspinall getting him out of there, and it's just weird because Volkov's shown good durability. I'm just staying away. I'll pick Aspinall though.
Yeah, Volkov has been put out once early, been put out early once in his entire career. I don't think I just can't see Aspinall. If he does, then I lose money, and that's probably what he's got to do, because the longer this fight goes, the more Volkov can set in, can get that outside kick working, that jab that he's got. Like, he's the better technical guy, like way above Aspinall in my opinion. I mean, if Aspinall does get inside and get to him, props to him. Volkov has fought way better dudes than Aspinall that's never been able to do that. I think this is going to be kind of a boring Volkov fight personally. And I think the longer it goes, the more he tires Aspinall out. And I mean, Aspinall hasn't even seen, I think, past the second round. So it's just all in Volkov's favor if he can get out of that first, maybe even 3 or 4 minutes. I think he can. And like Sean said, he's durable too. Even if Aspinall does manage to get inside and connect a couple, I don't think he's got the one shot knockout power to get Volkov out of there. So I like Volkov here, man. It's kind of creeping up into plus money now. Like, I got to take that. I just think he's the better guy at this point. Maybe Aspinall is that guy. Maybe he goes in there and cleans out Volkov in the first round. If he does, props to him. He's going to be boosted up in the heavyweight rankings very fast, because that's the shit show of that division. So I like Volkov, though, to probably get this to go 25 minutes, unless Aspinall just gasses out or once out, finds a way out. So I like Volkov.
Lance, you talked about FanDuel and their crazy pricing. They have Volkov by decision at plus 600. It's plus 300 everywhere else.
That's like, that would be a bet. Volkov by decision. Plus, that's a bet. Plus
just
600.
Let Brad bet it in your account.
Yeah, no doubt. That's a bet.
He's in 365 opened it at plus 500, and it quickly moved down to 300. But
yeah,
can Aspinall physically go 25 minutes without just walking out of the cage?
Brad, tell us.
That's why I didn't. That is why I did not bet the decision prop, because I don't think he can. I like Volkov quite a bit in this fight, actually. Aspinall, he's knocked out a bunch of bums in the first round, and then he fought Arlovski, and suddenly Arlovski he couldn't knock out. And the thing with Arlovski is, if you're like a good hot shit prospect, you're supposed to be able to knock out Andrei Arlovski, even at this point. It's when he fights all these lower tier bums that he goes to decision and wins a decision, and we all know it's going to happen, and it's wonderful to bet on. But man, Aspinall not being able to knock him out and then starting to get tired in that fight, and needing to go to his grappling against Arlovski to get the win, that scares me for people that are backing him, because it's not difficult to take down Andrei Arlovski. That shows me nothing. And maybe it's a little more difficult to sub him, but I don't even think he's going to get the opportunity against Volkov. If he has to turn to his grappling in this fight, he's fucked. If he does put Volkov out in the first round, as the British would say, fair fucks to him. But I don't think he does. I think Volkov survives that and just starts picking away to the body with long range shit. And I bet the round 3, 4, and 5 props at 1825 and plus and 3300. So I think Volkov gets him out of there late. I also bet the money line, but I think it's a late finish for Volkov here.
Yeah, Volkov is probably one of my least favorite fighters in the UFC.
Makes sense.
I would say he's top 5. I would say least faves. I mean, Derek Lewis ending his life was one of the better moments of my life. But yeah, he's just not a fan of the. He's one of the most boring. He's got to be. He's top 3 most boring fighter in UFC history. He's got to be. I mean, the guy is just dreadful. With all that said, I absolutely love him in this matchup. I almost never bet Volkov. I have only bet him probably a few times in his UFC career. I either bet against him or I pass on the fight. But he's a tough guy, and he is very hard to get out of there unless you are Derek Lewis. He's survived versus tough dudes. He's gotten hit. He takes it. He's pretty elusive on the feet when he avoids the big shots. I don't think it's that he has the best chin ever. I think he avoids a lot of the big shots. His length, I think it just fucks guys up. And Aspinall, that Arlovsky fight really turned me off of Aspinall. Just not being able to get him out of there in that situation at first. I know he got the finish later, but it's also just he had a minute and a half of throwing punches, and he was fucking spent. Like if he doesn't get that finish, he might have lost that fight. Like he did not look good.
He might have got Arlovsky'd. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think. I don't know. I can't see him getting Volkov out of there early. No one's gotten Volkov out of there ever, have they? Has he ever gotten out of there early?
Way back in Bellator got him out.
Yeah.
He's the only one that's got him out in the first, and then the other one is obviously Lewis in the third.
He did get subbed early in a couple fights back in like 2008.
So long time ago. So I think he's got pretty good gas tank. So I think for a heavyweight, I think he survives the early onslaught. I think he eats the shots, or they're not clean, and I think he survives and wins. And I understand why you could like Volkov at the plus 600 by decision, but it's 5 rounds, and Aspinall was gassed in 3 minutes. So I don't know. I don't see him. Volkov can turn it on and finish him, especially in the later rounds. Maybe catch him with the knee or something. So I like Volkov at plus money. I think that's a good enough bet for me. So that will be my bet in the card. We did it. You houses
under an hour and
under an hour and a half.
That's always the goal for me. I like it as quick as possible. It used to be 2 hours. I could barely do it.
You always run a tight ship.
I do. Well, you got to think how long I do this all day, sitting in front of my computer with this fucking speakerphone. Today I was like 8:30 to 3 straight with no break. So I hour and a half is my limit. Can't do more.
I know this means nothing, but 6 of the 7 main events so far this year have went to decision. How fucking brutal is that?
They should put Bear Jew in main events.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have to deal with that shit.
No, they're going to give us Font against fucking, who they're just going to.
Well, after Bear Jew finishes Krylov, which means he's finished Krylov, Hill, and Ankalaev, they can put some fucking respect on his name.
Just never gets it, man.
They need to move him along because he said he's going to retire when he turns 35. It's later this year, so.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
Bear Jew, no, I don't believe it either.
I don't know,
Bear
man.
Jew Glover title shot. Boom.
Not with that new hair, man. Like you might have to keep
He's
fighting.
rejuvenated
I need to make
with that
new
hair.
I need to make
a
a call.
45 now.
Yeah, fucking our boy Steve was right, man. He got the prime fucking ass cheek hair. Moved over to that
used all his bonus money on that one. He got the good shit.
He looks like that the Chad meme. The dude with like the perfect hairline and the chiseled jaw. That's Bear Jew.
He's a good looking chap, that man. But we appreciate it. Go Bear Jew. We'll see you next week to cash the Bear Jew tickets. Thanks, guys.